Tonight we are joined by KevyKev, my boy Kevin Grimm from Columbus, the Columbus E13. I feel like he's one of our. Not only was he our first ever guest, which I'll never forget, man. You got that title of you're our first guest ever. That was awesome. And now you're going to be doing, or you've done. You actually had your debut episode for a new podcast on American Hammers Radio's network, which is kind of cool, which we'll discuss a little bit later. I just want to mention drinkwaredesign.com real quick. They make fancy mugs, engraved flasks with anything that you want on it. Your Supporters Club logo, your favorite player or Manuel Pellegrini's beautiful face, or you could put, fuck Mike Dean on it, whatever you want. They also make sports bottles as well. So they're really cool. And there's a West Ham supporter that co-owns the company. So that's kind of cool. Yeah, that's why we out of Plano, Texas. So that's really cool. What else we got going on? What's that? Oh, yeah. Thank God we're not monetized yet. Oh, once we hit 1,000 subscribers, you can't do that, man.
Okay.
But, we're at 820 something now.
I figured I'd just stretch it and see if I was going to get kicked off Instagram again.
Dude, I wasn't. So I know. So here's a little something. Somebody commented on a post of me wearing the hat, and someone asked, "Hey, so where did you get that hat?" Right. And I said, "Oh, well, I got them from at the Columbus E13." Right. And on Twitter, on Instagram, I'm sorry. And
I saw that.
Yeah. Then all of a sudden they're like, that page doesn't exist, LOL. And I'm like, well, actually, no, it did. I forgot that he got booted off Instagram.
I did. I had.
You want to tell that story?
Yeah, I talked about it on the podcast too. But basically, what happened was, don't violate copyrights, kids. Basically, what happened was. When I started up the social medias for all of the different, the Twitters and Instagrams and all that kind of stuff, I made up a brand new Gmail address, which was just at that time, thecolumbuse13@gmail.com.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. It was available. So I used that, and I still use that for basically a home base, but it's really the only thing that goes to that email address. So it's not spam and all that kind of stuff. So I get notifications. I don't look at it every day because I'm busy running those social medias. So the first violation of the 3, which caused me to be kicked off of Instagram, I don't remember. I didn't see it, but I can tell you what they do. The very first thing they do is they remove your content. So this first one, I don't know what they removed because I post so much on there that I didn't see it. And this is only on Instagram. I was barely touching Twitter at all at that time, which I have stepped up my Twitter presence, especially in the absence of that first Instagram. The second violation was from the Asia Cup this summer when Noble scored the penalty kick. I was watching it at work. I'm a little monitor beside my desk, and I was like, I saw the kick and I was like, yeah, I should have posted that. So I got out my phone and I held it up in front of the screen, and you can see the edges of the screen. Picture's all shitty. Yeah. It's very obvious. I'm not doing a screen recording or anything professional. And I recorded about 8 seconds of a penalty kick and put that up.
Yeah.
And that resulted in a second violation, which was the first one that I realized that I had a violation. And for that one, they kicked me off, but not the account. So I wasn't allowed to post or or anything. I was allowed to look at stuff, and my account still existed. So then I was like, I got to be careful.
Yeah.
The straw that broke the camel's back, after we scored a goal, who do we play before Norwich?
Watford.
Scored a goal against Watford. Mm-hmm. My buddy John, who helps me run the group, goes down by our big screen at our former bar, which we can talk about that if you want to as well.
Yeah.
And he's right in front of we've got 2 bubble machines blowing bubbles all over the bar, covering everybody in soap suds. And he's on Snapchat, and he's recording the bubbles and us singing bubbles. And and the TV is on in the background,
yes,
replaying something that was completely unintentional.
Unreal.
The bubbles are flying in front of the television, and then he like flips the camera around, and you can see a bunch of us, all a bunch of goofballs, like singing bubbles and finishing that out. And I saw it on his Snapchat like a minute later. I was like, oh, I should have like got that. And I asked him, I go, hey, can I make a screen recording and post it? And he goes, sure, go ahead. And I posted that, and that is what got us kicked off of Instagram.
Yeah.
Of us singing bubbles with bubbles.
That's
and like
crazy.
3 or 4 seconds of a TV like in the far distance.
That's what I don't get. I don't get it. So that happened to us. So basically our only copyright infringement strike, whatever it was, from YouTube happened when we first started we said, hey, everybody, send us your videos from your supporters group. We want to see your reactions and stuff like that. Scott Davis from Mile High Hammers was at the Mile High Hammers group there, and he sent a video and I posted it. And then all of a sudden, not even a minute later, it said, oh, from the Premier League FA or whatever, I don't know what it was. Yeah, the Premier League said, no, it's copyright infringement. And I'm like, what's going on? They're like, there was a screen. You could see the screens in the, behind the bar in the background, but you couldn't even make out what's on the screen.
So messed up.
Yeah. So, and knowing that, it was only like not even 30 seconds long, but the point is like, why won't they allow stuff like that? But I could see if you're streaming a live game from your house or something like that, illegally or something, but over like a couple seconds or 30 seconds of something in the background.
Absolutely ridiculous.
That makes no sense. That's just as bad as Mike Dean.
Almost.
Something he would do. He must be, he's behind it. I know he is.
The funny thing is the drama doesn't quite end there. So the very end of my story is that whenever you have now, I don't know how it works on YouTube or how you actually found out that you had copyright infringement directly from the Premier League. But when you get a copyright infringement from Instagram, you get 2 emails. One say, hey, you're a bad boy. The second one says, here's the complainant if you would like to file with them and try to get them to rescind the whole thing. And they did that with the Mark Noble goal this past summer. And it was some media company out of India. That game was not on any American media anywhere. Somebody on Instagram, who I have yet to re-add because I can't remember his handle, he showed me a website that has every game.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
and it's somethinggoal.com. Anyway, I found it. That's how I got to watch the games, or the Asia Cup game anyway. So the company that caused that violation was some Indian media. I think it was called Media Star out of India or something like that.
Probably, yeah.
So I sent him an email saying, hey, I didn't, understand that this was a violation, blah, blah, blah. The straw that broke the camel's back is the last one did not have the information about who complained about it in the email.
Yeah, that's nuts.
Yeah. So I didn't have any chance to do it. So I put out the feelers on Facebook, hey, I got a lot of friends, and I was like, hey, anybody out there work for Facebook or Instagram? Looked up a whole bunch of things about how to get your Instagram back. I felt like some teenage girl who's the bottom had fallen out, and I wasn't going to have any friends anymore because I wasn't on Instagram. Well, my sister hit me up. My sister, who lives in San Mateo outside of San Francisco.
Yeah, I know
and
her well.
she has the same level of tenacity and drive as I do, and painted the acidness. She goes, I know somebody. What's up? So I told her behind the scenes what was going on. She had a neighbor who's a high-level executive at Facebook. And she put me in contact with him. He didn't really want to talk to me, but he is my sister's neighbor. Yeah. He said sure, anything to help. I let him know what happened. He put it to his investigative team. They said, hey, that dude copyright infringed. And he kind of just started spewing back like, policy at me. And I was like, yes, I know. I'm looking for help. I'm sorry, but I fucked up, and can I please have it back? And he just stopped answering my emails. So after that, I was just like, okay, time to start a second one. And I pretty much knew, like, personally, almost all my followers. I mean, I mostly use my Instagram to promote our watch parties and to, like, get a lot of my daily West Ham news. And that's how I found you. And, you know, like a lot of the people that I know, like all the other supporters groups, of which I can't believe how many there are. It's just all. But I mean, that's the
I look forward to your videos. You know what I mean? I think they're awesome. I don't think any other group really does that. To that
there are some guys out there that are really, really good graphic designers. I mean, I've been a graphic designer.
Yeah, flyers. There's a ton. I love seeing the different groups with their creativity and they make amazing flyers. But videos, I don't think I've seen anybody else doing videos.
Hey, you gotta set yourself apart, bro. Right?
Yeah, man. Yeah, totally.
So that stuff gets me excited. I mean, I've been a graphic designer for like a super long time and a DJ for a super long time and alive for a super long time. And so basically, like even with my DJ nights and stuff, I flipped over from using images for my event invites to videos. It makes it so that there's at least 2 nights a week I don't get very much sleep, but it jazzes people up, and my events are successful, and I have a feeling that it's a major part of it. And, you know, I have like a template that I've made for the West Ham ones. I just made a brand new template with the new colors and new animations. But yeah, I think it's a vital part of what I do. So I keep doing it. That's all.
Yeah. So have you noticed an increase or a decrease in numbers this season as from last year? Or roughly the same?
I would say increase. Even though our very first game was a 7:30 game, it was a really good turnout. You know, awesome. I was like bleary. I had a DJ the night before, so I was up till 4, and then I'm over there setting up, and I'm like, where the fuck did all these people come from? It's like, I mean, we probably had 35 people for a 7:30 game. That never happens. Yeah. So, but we were established at the downtown pub where we've been watching the game since 2016. So people knew where to find us. A lot of people followed us on Facebook. I think I threw $10 at Facebook promotion to like just throw it out there to people who might not be able to find our group. We had an increase in people finding the group that week, you know, a couple people from Dayton and Cincinnati and some of the other surrounding areas. So we definitely had an increase that very first game. The second game, also solid. We're 4 games in right now, right? Is that correct? 5 games. 5. Aston Villa was 5, right? Okay. Right. And then right after the Norwich game, on Labor Day weekend, I had to go to a wedding in Pittsburgh. So we got in the car right after that awesome win. And the next day at the wedding, I started getting texts from the bartender, who was the guy who got us into the pub we had been in. Yeah. Then, hey, did you hear about Three-Legged Bear? And I'm like, looking at my phone, like, what? And then the like long pause, like, what's going on? Blah, 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 blah. And he hits me back like 15 minutes. Like, oh, sorry, I was bartending, blah, blah, blah. Oh, yeah, so I heard the bar got sold. And I was like, you know, right in my stomach. And I was just like, nobody told me this, you know, yesterday when we were all sitting in the bar watching the game. Anyway, so luckily this all happened during the international break. I had already met up with the manager of the new pub we're at now, like a week and a half before they were having their 1-year anniversary. And my wife and I like to go wherever there's bagpipes. And this is another Irish pub in downtown Columbus called Pub Mahone. And, which I found out after the first week means kiss my ass. So I get, did you know that?
No.
So Pub Mahone in Gaelic is Pogmathoin. And when you see it, like it's painted all over the place. Yeah. And if you actually look up the actual translation of Pogmathoin, it means kiss my ass.
That's fun.
So some marketing guy is like a genius, which is like awesome. The place has its own Father Jack.
I know. I want to go for that, man.
Yeah, and you know what? I didn't realize this. he's fully animatronic.
No shit.
Yeah, I mean, it's like Hall of Presidents up there. So I've never seen him go yet. We're supposed to make it happen this Sunday morning. The manager who invited us to come, as the new home, he told me that they have like an air compressor. So the thing like stands up out of the chair and he starts waving his finger and he's like, drink, drink, drink.
Nice.
And it has like a whole like special soundtrack that they've recorded. It says some Ohio State shit, and it says how everybody in the bar is an idiot and blah, 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 blah. But I haven't seen it go yet because I was just like, you need some lights on that thing. Like we can't see his face. And he goes, oh, you got to see when it goes. But he told me that the compressor that runs it, like the actual moving of it, is too powerful for it. So it starts blowing parts of it. So he said, you can't leave it on. And I'm like, we got to see it go. So I'm gonna record video of it this Sunday. Like we got to see it.
Favorite shows of all time. One of my favorite shows of all time. I've seen that like in its entirety from beginning to end, maybe 3 or 4 times through. I love that series.
I am sorry to say I didn't know what it was until after. I was like, what is that thing?
Yeah.
That thing is scary looking. And I guess some guys that do like creature feature, like big haunted house thing here, they actually made it the bar. Yeah. I mean, now that I've seen the show on YouTube and stuff, and it's a perfect likeness. And apparently the soundtrack that they've recorded basically is him in character and in voice. So it's great. I can't wait for it.
Yeah. We got a question in the chat room for you.
Okay.
Kind of. It's more like a statement question. Kev, tell everyone how you got that shirt.
How I got this shirt?
Yeah.
Well, I got it at the Cockney Reject show at Now That's Class in Cleveland, Ohio, 2 or 3 summers ago. And I bought it from my good buddy in the chat room, Justin Easton.
Yeah, he's the one that asked. That's awesome.
Justin is he represents the Rejects when they tour in America. And I met him I talked to him online a bunch of times, and at that show, I met him in person, and we've kept up a pretty good rapport. And Justin, since you're listening, I'm still waiting for those dates that were supposed to happen in September, and I haven't seen any tour information, bro. Where is it? What's going on?
Yeah, we should probably get him involved with that thing we were talking about off the air before we started.
Absolutely.
Well. Yeah, we'll discuss that later. Yeah, man. So you got a new home. That's awesome.
Yep.
It seems like you said, perfect timing. It wasn't perfect timing for West Ham, though, having that break. They were on a run, and they didn't need that break. They didn't.
Right.
They should have kept going. But yeah, let's talk a little bit about your podcast. So I basically here's how it goes. American Hammers Radio is part of the American Hammers network, which we have, which is American Hammers TV, which is this, with multiple shows, etc. And we got some new killer shows on the way. So look out for the month of October. You're going to see a lot of new content replacing some redundant content to kind of make things exciting. But same thing with the podcast network. I had one show, and then I actually had a second show that we tried out. It's all trial and error because it's all we're trying things out here. We started. We had some technical issues with the Corn-Fed Boys, which was you and Jay Logsden from Iowa.
Right.
We'll get him on something else, another show. He's actually going to be doing one of our new shows as well, which is going to be, we've talked about it for a long time, but we needed someone to take the helm, and he's going to take the helm. It's a book club / review, a monthly show on YouTube. Basically, we'll announce which book we're going to be reading, or he's going to be reading, Lee's going to be reading, and all of our readers in the group. And then they'll do a show reviewing the book, interacting with the chat room, and then they'll announce what the next book is. So it's kind of like a book club / book review show. It for readers, it's going to be awesome. Unfortunately, I don't like reading. I love pictures and moving pictures, and
me too,
and audio books and stuff like that. But anyway, so that's that. So anyway, long story short, it didn't work out. So we moved on. Kevin came up with a great idea that he wanted to work with his own people in the same location, in the same room, really, to eliminate any audio issues eventually. And yeah, so here we go. The debut episode launched late last night, early this morning. So if you haven't checked it out, it's on Spotify, SoundCloud, and Google Play Music for right now. We do have links all over our social media accounts. I did make a post earlier this morning about it. So just scroll a little bit further back on our profile and you'll find links to the shows. So let's talk a little bit about the show. What was your idea for the show? What are your plans for the show, etc.?
Well, I think I'd mentioned it to you before. There are a lot of West Ham podcasts. There are a lot of soccer podcasts.
There are.
There are a lot of people that are waiting to be heard out there. I take in a lot of it myself.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, when it comes right down to it, I mean, I couldn't do Pellegrini's job. I wouldn't try to do Pellegrini's job. I don't play fantasy. I'm a fan of the team. I'm a fan of the team's culture, at least their past culture, and hopefully future culture. I love West Ham to the core, and it's all because of the seduction that took place the first time that I went to a game. But when it comes right down to it, I'm not an expert on who should start and who should sit. I have opinions. Everybody's got opinions. But who the fuck cares? Who cares what I fucking think? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Everybody can do a review and a preview. There'll be some of that, you know, especially if it causes controversy in the room of the game that we just watched with all the guys that I watch it with. Yeah. But the truth is, our podcast is going to be about running a supporters group for this team that I love so much in America, in the heartland of America. I had no idea until I got on with you, Tim, how many American supporters groups West Ham United has. I'm delighted to know that there's so many, and I've made so many friends and talked to so many people, and all of them are out there struggling, you know, from Casa and the guys at the DC Irons to the guys in Chicago to those poor guys in Los Angeles that got to get up when it's still dark to see the games. And those guys are rocking and rolling. You know what I mean? Like,
how bizarre is it that they have like multiple locations? I mean, they have multiple groups. They split off with the inner city of LA group as well. There's another group out there. And then there was a period of time where they also merged. They would meet up halfway with the San Diego crew and do OC Irons.
Right.
So it is, like you said, there's groups everywhere. It's awesome to see. And that's the most fun about this show. I'm getting to meet people all over the country by doing this since day one and making great friends. Literally everybody I've had on the show, I'd be friends with, man. And we all get along. It's really cool. I do want to mention, you mentioned DC Irons. And before I forget, I forgot the last few episodes. I got to say, the Bournemouth match on the 28th, I will be hanging out with the DC Irons at Fido's on 7th Street Northwest, I believe, 808 or something like that. Or anyway,
it's gonna be wild.
Yeah, I can't wait. So I've already interviewed Lucas from that group. I've interviewed Costia from that group.
Yep.
And they're actually helping us behind the scenes doing some things for the show channel anyway. And yeah, it'll be great to meet them in person. I mean, I get to hang out with the Philadelphia crew a couple weeks ago for the Norwich match. I brought my son, and that was awesome. Like, my son got into the bar, and we were able to, you know, hang out and have a good time. I get to meet Wally World, who's always in our chat room.
Yep.
He's been a huge part of our show. He's, you know, actually showed up a few times. Met a few other people that we've interviewed before too. It was really cool. So, and see, you're talking about struggling, right? More like there's new groups. There's groups that just are there because they love West Ham and they don't care about the social media aspect. There's groups that do care about the social media aspect. There's groups that are happy with 3 or 5 people. And then there's people that, you know, they're aiming for 40 to 60 people. They want to get a bigger venue. They want a concert hall, you know, like Smithfield or something. You know, it's really cool to see. But, you know, I was there in Philadelphia, and this is a group that there was a group in Philadelphia, and then they kind of fizzled. And then these new people came in and said, no, Philadelphia needs a group. Let's make it happen. I'm ambitious. Let's just drive this. Let's grow it. Social media. Let's blow this up. They average 16 people. I mean, most beginning groups start with like 3 to 5 to
Right,
6
right.
tops, you know, and they're averaging, 16 apiece. That's pretty good. So anyway, continue. I'm sorry, I went on a rant there, but I needed to mention DC before. So anybody who is in the DC or driving distance to the DC area who wants to come say hi, I'll be there.
No, those guys are apeshit. Don't you remember them on My PL Morning? When they did the fan
Yeah,
fest
when they were in DC. Yeah, I do.
Oh my
yeah.
God, they're out. Those guys are off the hook. But I mean, I love DC. I was born in DC, so my mom and dad's family are both from there. I would love to go see a game over there. I would love to go see a game at Smithfield. One of the coolest things about the network of different Hammer supporters groups is, like my wife and I like to travel a lot. So we've like found people. Hell, I met the guy who's the head of the Edinburgh, Scotland supporters group through having this group, my group. And we ended up going to the Newcastle game with him a couple of years ago, 2 years ago in August, which was a miserable game, but it was a great day.
Yeah,
it was super fun day, super fun game. But the thing is, like, no matter how many groups there are, the thing that we all have in common, all of us, whether we want it to be 5 people or whether we're, aiming for 50 people, is that it's more fun to watch it with a room full of like-minded fans that are as rabid about it as you are than sitting on your couch. I got a great big ass TV downstairs and I could sit on my couch and be in my underpants and watch the game. You know what I mean? First thing in the morning and like in recovery and eat a giant plate of eggs and, sing bubbles to myself. What the fuck fun is that? That's not fun. Well, I mean, it's kind of fun, but it's
kind of fun.
It's way more fun, way more fun to be with the other kooks. You know what I mean?
You're right.
I've met every single person in the group that I have that is now, I mean, we're like 70 people strong, but we've got like 20 people that come to the games. You know what I'm saying? There's there's some people that have never come, some people that have come like once or twice, but there's a core like 15, 20 guys that are there all the time. And I only knew 3 of them before we started the group. It's awesome. I found other people in Columbus, Ohio, who love West Ham United. I mean, and if I hadn't got off the couch and started something and said, come to this bar first thing in the morning and fill up on brunch and beer, then I would have never met them. So anyway, that's the reason I do it. I get off on it. But that's it.
So do you have any, I mean, you'll obviously be mentioning this in the podcast, but do you have any secrets, any tips? What's is it drive? Is it just, hey, if you only want 3 to 5 people, just stay happy, Or what do you say to these the groups that are A, struggling, or B, brand new groups?
This is what I would say. I'm an event promoter anyway. I've been a DJ since, earlier than I would like to admit. And the only way that you make it doing nightclub shows is to be able to promote yourself. So I wasn't unfamiliar with what it takes to get a name out there, get a brand out there. Like I said, I'm also a graphic designer. So, I mean, there are certain bullets in the gun that I needed to make it happen that I already possess. So, you don't make any money doing it. You can't plan on making any money doing it.
Yeah.
You have to do it because you want to be around the people and you want to be surrounded by as much of the live culture of a West Ham game as you possibly can make. I mean, that's why I've got bubble machines and an iPad with all of the chants, and like I'm going through the live sound and we're doing the chants. And it's so funny, the Chelsea supporter group in Columbus, Ohio is the only group that has ever come to visit us, and that is because we've blown them up on a number of occasions. My buddy Joey helps run that group. We love the Ohio Blues. Love a little bit, but when it was so funny, last year we came in for an early game and they had 100 people in the bar. And we were like, what in the hell? They're all singing the chants, the Chelsea, the anti-West Ham chants, you know. We only had like 12 people that day. And so we were like, okay, we like it. Get a beer. You're making me look good. You know what I mean? So that was really, really cool. It was cool to rub elbows with them. They didn't come unprovoked. You know, we had gone to their bar like 2 or 3 times, which was a big part of like why I started the group. We decided early on that if there was another PL team that had a supporters group in Columbus, Ohio, we would travel there and invade their space, which we do on the regular. So there's a Tottenham bar that is kind of faded a little bit, but still exists. At one point, they were like 100 people strong. First away game, we were like walked in there. We're like, oh my God, there's so many people in here. There's a Chelsea group. Believe it or not, there is not a Man United group. Most of the Man U fans that I know come watch the games with us. We put the Man U games on the second TV for them, but there isn't an organized group in Columbus. We've heard that to start an official supporters group, you have to pay Manchester United to be able to do that. Like you have to have paid membership. So I don't know what the real rules are. Yeah. I know that when I started the group, one of the very first things I did is I registered the group on the actual West Ham United website. Yeah. And then all of a sudden we were an officially sanctioned supporters group, and it didn't cost any money, but I did have to set up a page. And it had to get
nothing out of it other than having your name on the website. That's the one thing that I've bitched about in previous shows. But anyway, the club needs to recognize.
And also other organizations, NBC Sports at one point, not this past year, I think the year before, tried to put out like a global map of supporters groups across the country. It was pretty limited, but we were on that. I don't even know how we got on that, but we were on that. And they also... when I became an official supporters group, the year that we did that, the club reached out to me asking for more information about the group.
Really?
And yep. This was even before the season started. So we put it out there. I think that it was part of a promotional push that they were trying to do to get more Premier League fans in America, you know, which we knew bunches of them. So they asked about our group. And then somehow or another, that story made its way to our local, like, main paper, the Columbus Dispatch. The Columbus Dispatch covered our first watch party, which was an away game at the Chelsea bar.
Perfect.
It was a Friday at 3 p.m., so there was only 4 of us. We walked in there, we put our flags up. I had a bubble machine with me and plugged it in on the down low. And, of course, West Ham didn't win the game, but they only had like 2 or 3 people at the bar, and Columbus Dispatch was taking pictures of us and running our picture in the paper. Like,
that's great.
Oh my God, Premier League invades, you know, America. So
what are your thoughts on the other, like the big clubs, which, you know, Sully and Gold promised once we left the Bowling ground, you know, we'd be one of those big clubs in the near future. What are your thoughts on what we get versus what, I mean, as supporters in the supporters groups from the club versus Chelsea, Tottenham, Man City, Liverpool, the perks? I mean, like, basically, they offer discounts on tickets when you come over. They offer, you know, they'll send signed jerseys to hang up in your, I mean, dude, I went to this place in Boston and they had a signed jersey, like an Aguero jersey from the whole team signed, saying, you know, with a thing that said, you know, Man City, Boston group, blah, blah, blah. That was sent from the club to the group. You know what I'm saying? Like, things like that. Tottenham, I mean, they send like T-shirts and merch, like, to each, you know, individual group. They'll ask, hey, how many members do you have? Okay, great. Here's, you know, what size do you? Okay, here you go. And that's what big clubs do. West Ham doesn't do that.
Money talks, you know what I mean? Like I said, like, when I found out that, like, to have an official, like, Manchester United group, you had to pay. So, I mean, I'm shelling out a bunch of money just to make the supporters group exist. You know what I mean? Nobody's paying me to buy bubble juice or buy bubble machines or whatever equipment I take for the gig, which a bunch of it I had already because I'm a DJ. But that would be pretty sweet to be able to get that kind of swag and, you know.
Yeah, I mean, the lead to how, I mean, you know how, listen, you're a printing business. How cheap would it be just to give each supporters group some T-shirts. I mean, cheap for a big. I mean, for a club.
Right.
I mean, it wouldn't be that expensive for them to send, shirts over. As or something for a thank you for being supporters and hosting these groups and trying to grow the fan base over here in the States. And that's what, I mean, we've talked to people from, like the Mile High Hammers. I mean, you have Gina over there, making cupcakes. They purchased a bubble machine as well.
Right.
Doing all these things to make sure that they try to grow their numbers. And what thanks did they get? I mean, from the club. I mean, they get the thanks from their supporters. They're the people that show up every week, and that's great. But I mean, we're doing it, like you said, because we love the club. Okay,
right.
We obviously don't. When we're doing it with nothing anyway, we're not getting anything anyway, so it doesn't matter. But the point is, all the other clubs are getting something, and that just shows you that about the club. That they're not.
The main thing it shows me is that it's money talks. Like if you have to pay for the right to run a supporters group, an official supporters group, then you should get something. You know what I mean? You should get.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll be honest with you. I would love to get discounts on tickets and T-shirts and sign swag, and even if it was to like give away or make perks, it would make it so that I know that we have a whole bunch of expats in our group that would love bunches of them go to the games anyway. You know what I mean? Like my buddy Dean Park, he's over there for a couple of weeks a year, and Andy Spencer is another guy, and those guys go to games anyway, but it would be so cool to be able to have like my core guys all go to a game together. I mean, it'd be incredible.
It would incentivize. It would also incentivize others to come over. Or what if say, they even said here's a pair, here's a pair of tickets for you to, the helm, the head of the group to give away as a raffle or something like that to help support your group. And then the people, I mean, they obviously they have to pay for their own flight, but hey, you get 2 match tickets or something like that. I'm just saying other clubs do similar things.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
They should.
But even a discount, though, would be fantastic. I mean, I would settle with, 20% off a pair of match tickets. You know what I mean? That's crazy money, because match tickets is, I mean, they're not cheap.
No, they're not. And sometimes they're impossible to come by no matter what the price.
That's true.
Especially away days. Oh my goodness, very very tough.
Yeah, there's some point system over there. I still don't even understand. I've heard more than just a podcast and American West Ham podcast try to explain it, and I still don't understand quite how it works. There's some 10-point system, and they rank it on how many matches you go away a game, and I don't know what the fuck. I don't know. But yeah, so. It's just something that has been frustrating me this whole time, because when we started this, it was when we started American Hammers TV, it was to showcase the supporters groups only. It was just we're going to do 1 a week, maybe 2 a week tops, and we're just going to showcase all the different supporters just to say, hello, we're here, the club. All right, and then the show evolved and then something much bigger. But the point is, we still gripe about it. I mean, it's been over 8 months now, and we're still griping about. We're not recognized. We, as a show who's trying to expand the fan base here as a whole, trying to incentivize or entice people to either join a supporters group in your area, or B, start your own if there isn't one. And then secondly, we're trying to, show to them that there is existing supporters groups here, and there are some that have, massive numbers, and some that you wouldn't even expect. Dude, you think about someone like, I don't know, like Knoxville. Knoxville's got a decent little, they got a decent, group over there.
Okay.
And I would never have guessed there was a group in Knoxville. There's a group in Memphis. There's a group in Nashville. Tennessee has 3 decent sized groups.
That's awesome.
Tennessee. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying anything bad about Tennessee. I'm just saying that's one state, and they got 3 groups. It's not California, and they have 3 groups. That's awesome. Florida, same thing. There's some so there was a post a while ago, not a while ago, maybe a few weeks ago, a month tops, that Irons and Stripes on Twitter. It's at Irons and Stripes. They showed a map. It had logos all over the country.
Yeah.
Right?
I reposted it myself.
About 1/3 of them are just one person with the Twitter handle, and that's their logo. They don't go to the bars with people. They don't do anything. I mean,
I didn't know.
Oh yeah.
Are you talking about the white background one
yeah,
with America?
Yeah. But at the same time, some of them do go to the bar by themselves, and in hopes that they maybe they can get more people to go to these things.
You got to do more than just go to the bar.
Well, I understand. I know that, and
right.
We'll talk about that in a minute. I'm just saying that that's a very misleading thing. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
There aren't as many groups, and there's also groups that weren't. There was couple groups that weren't even on there, but they don't even have there's some that don't even have a logo. So I know like Grand Rapids is one of them. You know what I mean? Or no, Grand Rapids does have a logo, but no, I can't remember who I was thinking of. But anyway, and there's one group that not one group. There's 3 or 4 groups that I know are groups, and we still haven't been able to convince even one of them,
right?
One person in those groups to join our show. I'm like, Indy, if you're watching, I want you on the show. Rose City in Portland, Oregon, I want you to join the show, please. Somebody from your group. Bay Area Hammers, I know you watch the show because I see you commenting sometimes. There's somebody in your group that wants to join our show. Please join our show. We'd love to showcase you and help you get more people into your show. Into your supporters group. Orlando was one that we were in talks with at the end of last season, but then the guy said, I don't know if I'm going to do it anymore because the numbers just started to go down. And Orlando's one of them, and that was on the map as well. Like, they're not doing it, so how you can't count them, man. You know what I mean? There were Pittsburgh's another one. Pittsburgh. The guys who run it, a couple of them, I guess they're in the military, so they're not even. I mean, they're always on leave and stuff. I mean, we've tried booking them on the show a few times, and they said the same exact thing. They're like, oh well, we're not there most of the time. But when they do show up, when they actually the guys that run the thing show up, the numbers show up for them. So, but it's just not an every match thing. You know what I'm saying?
I wonder if there's a correlation with the most active groups being in cities that actually have MLS teams. I don't know for sure. I do not know, but a lot of the times when I'm like scanning through the Instagram, you see lots of stuff from the DC Irons. You see, you see stuff from the Seattle guys. I love the Seattle preview images, by the way, how they have like the rock and rollers. Yeah. You know what I mean? So they've got the guy from Maiden, and like this past week they had the geezer from Sabbath. New
York City does some good ones too, like that. They do some,
is that New York that does it, or Seattle? I thought Seattle. I love those posts.
Yeah, I think Seattle does too. I think I don't know if they do it as often. Right. I know New York usually puts one out every single week. That's kind of flashback type of
right.
Post.
Right,
Yeah.
They use like the classic pictures and stuff.
Yeah,
and
I love that look.
Whoever runs Fresno, they got a fantastic graphic designer. It's still a still image, but I got a lot of respect for this really, really good graphic design.
I don't know who does. I don't know who does the graphics, but I know the guy who runs it is Kyle, and he hosts our American Hammers Radio, the flagship one.
Okay.
So yeah, he's kind of. He's awesome. He's so funny, man. I mean, if you guys haven't listened to American Hammers Radio yet, like they just finished episode 7, which is great. And God, Mike Dean, man, don't bring up Mike Dean. Especially around Kyle from Fresno. I know. But basically, there was a point in the episode where I was surprised Spotify even took it, because there was so many F-bombs, which isn't, it hasn't.
Is that a no-no on Spotify?
I don't know, because well, the thing is, I didn't actually tag it as explicit.
Oh.
So
probably need to do that. It is a West Ham podcast.
I know.
Right.
I know. But they limited the swears in the first 6 episodes, but Mike Dean, man, oh God almighty. So anyway, yeah, so Fresno in Portland. So no, Portland. I'm sorry, Seattle. Yeah, they were changing bars too, weren't they, or something? I heard some story about that.
Ooh, I don't know.
Yeah, but that was at the end of last season. They weren't. I don't know. We got to get them back on. Chris, this guy Chris over there, we've had on. He was one of the guys I was talking about the punk rock stuff with you earlier before the show. And there's a guy from Houston who does the Bayou Ironworks, because one of the guys who co-founded the Bayou Ironworks in Houston, Keith, has now moved to Albuquerque, started a group there. So Ryan has taken over the helm of the Bayou Ironworks. I think I had that right. And he's punk rock too. Him and Chris from Seattle know each other very well through music, which is kind of cool. So yeah, supporters groups. Where are we going with this? I think I always tend to, take it somewhere else.
That's okay.
So anyway,
tangents are fine, dude.
There's tons of different groups. There's tons in different cities that I didn't even think would exist. Like, there's a guy who messaged me today on Twitter from upstate New York who's been trying his butt off to get a group going up there in upstate New York. And he's been struggling, but he just informed me today that he's moving to the Bay Area and asked me to get him in contact with those people.
Okay.
So that's a good sign. Oh, and I love seeing this as well. So the guy who runs the Tampa Hammers, is going to school in Knoxville. So he's moved up to Knoxville and is now helping
Synergy, bro.
The Knoxville people. Yeah. So that group should start to see some push as well. So I love seeing things like that. And the Tampa Hammers were left in good hands as well. And unfortunately, I was going to be there for the Liverpool match in December down in Tampa for Christmas that time. But fucking Liverpool moved the match. So
that's right.
There's no fucking match. And I'm like, son of a bitch. But I'm still going to hang out with them anyway. And actually, the guy who I was telling you about that moved up to Knoxville will be back down in Tampa then. So I'll at least get to hang out with the guys and see the venue where they hang out. And, pretend West Ham's playing. Maybe we'll put on an old match.
Hey, man, you're going to Florida in December. It's hard to complain.
I know.
Right?
I know. All right, so I just want to mention the chat room real quick. There's quite a few people in here. We will skip the West Ham news and go straight into some Hammers polls, just so you know, Kevin.
Okay.
Because we're almost at that time to
bring it on.
Day. So Justin Easton was in the chat room. Neil from South Australia. Steve Mothersoul, who is working on a podcast himself. He's from England, and he said it was 2 a.m. when we started tonight. Penny Lawless, that's Dan Lawless's mom. She's always in the chat room with us, and I'm surprised to see her, after 2 a.m. Watching the show. But thank you, Penny. Good to see you. Wally World, I mentioned earlier. I get to meet him. That was fantastic. He's in here, and I saw a couple other people pop in. Okay, PJ Miller from Kansas. Oh, that's right, Kansas City. So she runs Kansas City's group. Okay. That's cool. And I didn't even know that there one existed last season. But going into this, I guess in the summer is when we discovered Kansas City. And we're going to have her on the show sometime in the near future so she can tell her story and the formation of the Kansas City group over there. So that's cool to see that there's one in Kansas City. I wonder if them in St. Louis, if they ever cross paths, you know what I mean? Or swap or visit each other, because that would be kind of cool. Brian Hoffman is in the chat room as well. He's actually in Vacaville, and I think he's hanging out with the Hammers up in Sacramento.
Vacaville?
Vacaville.
Vacaville?
Vacaville.
Valkenvania?
Valkenvania, yeah. All right, I'm going to pull up some Hammers polls. But thank you, everybody who's watching in the chat room. I appreciate that, and I love seeing the interaction.
Oh, now I see the live comments. Here we go. I was clicking in the wrong place. Hey, now I see it. Okay, go ahead. What do we got?
All right, we got, according to Clareton Hugh, Ben Johnson has been ruled out of the squad for Sunday. So who gets the left back spot now? Zabaleta or Cresswell? What do you think, Kevin?
Who gets it or who should get it?
Answer both.
I think that Cress is going to start. I think that Cress would have started even if Ben Johnson was available.
I do too.
I know that by and large, people want to see Johnson out there, and they've had it with Cress and what they perceive as his half-hearted effort. I love Aaron Cresswell. Has he lost a step? Probably. But I think that he will start, and if he F's up, Zabaleta is going to be in there real fast.
Yeah, I don't think he will F up, and the reason is that he's got a point to prove. I mean, he had a shit performance against Man City.
Indeed.
Lost his job to Masuaku, who ended up getting a contract extension after that.
Right.
And now everything is looking at, Masuaku being the number one guy. And there was a lot of reports about how much Pellegrini favors him. Right. So Cresswell's got a point to prove, man. And I think he'll do it. I really do. I think he'll perform very well.
You think he's going to bring the heat? I
think he will. I think because his lack of speed and his lack of ability just came out of nowhere.
Right.
So I think he's going to do fantastic. I really do. I think he'll take over the position. I really do.
I hope so.
What else do we got? So actually, we'll see what people says. I'll say Cresswell, and 70% say Cresswell will get the left back spot. Yeah, I mean Zabaleta definitely performed well last game, and I do think that he deserves some playing time. But again, he's also inconsistent, like last season as well. He'd play one good game, and the next game his leg's gone. So
Zab is a good, he's a bar none. He's a great enforcer for the team. You know what I mean? And down the line, especially if we are hopefully protecting a small lead, I would want Zaba in there. You know what I mean? I think Cresswell's, even though he's playing in the back, is a slightly better attacker if he needs to be, but Zabaleta, you don't get past the guy. You know what I mean? He's going to put somebody's face in the dirt.
Yeah, and that's what I love about him. And again, it's just his speed. Just it's there one minute and it's not the next minute. And but no, I mean I'd rather have him than Fredericks, to be honest with you, because of his actual technical ability and his brains. He's been there, done it. He understands the game much better than Fredericks does, and that's why I always vouch for Zabaleta. And I get a lot of stick for it, but again, it's just my opinion. Right. I tell that everybody every show. I'm like, listen, if you don't like any one of our opinions, just remember it's just one of our opinions. It's not we don't make the answers. We're not.
Yeah, take it easy.
Yeah, seriously. So the next question:
opinions are just like buttholes. Everybody's got one.
That's right. Should Pellegrini give Ayeti more game time in the Premiership? Yes or no?
Yeah.
You think so? Okay. So how would that work? How would that play out?
I don't know. I don't know how it would play out, but I want to see the guy score something. I want to see if he can score something. And has he been on the field? Yeah, I don't even think he's been on the field for a Premier League game.
No, not for Premier League game.
Right.
Just the Newport match, which he did horribly.
How would it work?
I mean, a two-striker situation? Or are you talking about giving Allaire just some rest?
If we've got I don't know. I'm not sure there would be such a thing as I was going to say if we have a comfortable lead. I don't think that there would be such a thing as a comfortable lead, especially against Man U. You never know what they're going to, you know what I mean? Like they're like.
I would bet that we'd have more of a comfortable lead against Man U than Bournemouth, because Bournemouth. It's always a shootout with Bournemouth. Either Bournemouth beats us or it's like 4-3 we win. You know what I mean? It's never comfortable.
Or the ref makes a lot of really bad decisions when we play Bournemouth.
Anthony Taylor, never forget that. Yeah. No, you're right. But I just don't think that we've ever had a comfortable lead against Bournemouth, have we? Not in recent memory anyway. Not a comfortable lead.
I don't think that there is such a thing as a comfortable lead against Bournemouth either. Those guys can just score immediately.
I'll say no, just for the fact I can't see it. I don't see how it could happen in the Premiership. But I say definitely give them the starts in the Cup. Go for it.
For sure.
Yeah.
In the Cup. Get him in there.
League One. So Newport was a League Two side. Now we have a League One side in Oxford coming up. So I definitely give them the opportunity. If we were matched up against a Premier League team, no.
A striker needs time, dude. You got to put him on the field or he's going to get rusty as shit.
Yeah, I don't even know. Is he getting any minutes with the under-23s? I mean, I haven't been paying too much attention to that. I should.
I don't know.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'll say so what do you say? Should he give him more game time?
I think yes. It's just an opinion.
I'll just click yes. So in 65% say yes, they should. But again, I mean, how? But whatever. All right.
Right.
Next question is, on their podcast last night, which says 15 hours ago, so I think it might have been the night before. I don't know. Dave and X were discussing the upcoming match with United and how many of our players could grace their team. So how many of West Ham's players could walk into Oli's first 11? 1, 2, 3, or 4 plus?
Well, we know at least one.
And name them.
At least Declan Rice, we know for sure, because they were trying to scoop him.
Yeah, Diop. They tried to scoop as well.
Diop, that's 2. I'm not sure if there was actually news about them being interested in another player, but if you think about people that could start in their 11 that they haven't inquired about, I would say Lanzini.
Oh, yeah.
And at this point, I would say Haller.
Yeah, definitely. They.
I would say 4.
Anderson, dude.
Oh, yeah, Felipe. For coming. Yeah, is there not a 5 button? There isn't 5.
No,
okay, so
it was 4 plus. It was 4 plus.
Okay, so put 4 plus. I would say definitely. 4 plus.
Yeah, I do want to mention though that I guess it was Ginge from our he's on Twitter as Gingerbread, but his name is James Jimmy whatever, and he's running our Discord for us.
Okay,
he's taking over that. He posted on our Discord channel this morning that Man U is out. They got like 3 or 4, at least 3 key players.
I saw that story
coming up. Yeah, so that's. I'm
not sure I believe it. Now they have. Hold on a second. I'm going to look up something here while I'm talking to you. They had a game today, did they not?
They did.
Is it? Okay, so they beat Astana 1-0. So I know that those people in question were out today. Now, I think that it might be a bunch of hooey.
Yeah.
And that they are fine and are going to be at London Stadium ready to go.
Yeah.
That's what I think.
Yeah, no, you're probably right. So with the poll anyway, 55% did agree with us that, more than 4.
Oh my God, I'm beginning to think I know what I'm talking about.
We'll
let that happen.
We'll do one last poll if I could find one here through all the mess. Is it time for Fornells to start yet? Yes or no? Someone else already clicked it, and 70% said yes. What do you think?
I think absolutely yes.
Okay.
He needs to get in there. He's got to get playing time. You know what I mean? You can train hard and roll around with the guys that your teammates and stuff, but until you're out there getting full contact, I mean, you're not really going to get your sea legs out there. He needs more time. And look, this league is obviously different than anywhere else. You know what I mean? Everybody takes some adjusting. It's a lot more physical.
Yeah.
I'm waiting to see some of his super sweet techers that were in all of those preview videos before they signed him, like the crazy nutmegs from the corner and all that stuff. I want to see him rock and roll. You know what I mean? I'm ready to see him go musketeer on these guys. I want to see it. I want to see it.
Yeah, definitely. We have to about wrap it up now, but I just want to go ahead and plug the podcast again and give us the name and everything else.
It is the official CMHE13 podcast on American Hammers Radio. We're going to record them. We're going to try to record them every Wednesday evening after work. When Mark gets off work, comes over here. So we're going to record them around 6. I should be able to upload them to you at about 7:30, and then you can do whatever you're going to do with them.
I'll have them out either late Wednesday night or early, available for everyone's morning drive on Wednesday.
I did want to ask you, what's the deal with the iTunes thing? Is that ever going to happen, or what's going on with that?
It's going to happen.
Okay.
I have to re-upload all of the American Hammers Radio podcasts because the file type apparently isn't high quality enough. They don't like MP3s, even though
they like M4A.
But that's what iTunes was all about, right? When you buy music from iTunes, it's MP3s, right?
Yeah, but iTunes is owned by Apple, and Apple is Mr. I own this file format.
They said you can do a FLAC, an AIFF, a TIFF, or this, that, and everything else. EIO.
Right.
Yeah. So anyway, yeah, you're right. M4A. They said those would work too. WAV files as well. I'm like, wait, really? But better than a freaking MP3? How's that even possible? Anyway. All right. So yeah, I gotta, because the beginning of the feed are MP3s. I have to go back and convert them and re-upload them, and then that beginning thing will be recognized. Once I get that first episode recognized as I could probably just do that one, actually. I don't know. But again,
dude, download Sound Studio. It's a fantastic app. It's super fast, and Sound Studio. It's super good.
For what?
Sound Studio is what I use to convert all of my audio stuff.
Oh, convert. Okay. I use Adobe Audition for the
obviously that works too.
Yeah. I don't know how to use it. I just play with it.
You just do it.
Whatever. I just do it. Yeah.
Mac or PC?
Mac.
I got nothing else to say, bro.
I got a Mac Mini, man, but I got a beast of a Mac Mini.
Okay, that's cool.
And as soon as I'm done with my show, I take it out of my bedroom and I plug it into the TV in the living room, and I just football manager and do some Adobe Audition stuff. Anyway, everybody, I just want to mention our next episode. Not this Friday, but the following Friday, we're going to have Friday night shows. It's going to be kind of special. It's going to be something completely different than we've ever done before. John Nolan, who you've seen on our channel before hosting shows, will be hosting this show, actually technically moderating it per se. It's going to be exciting. So that will be cool. But unfortunately we have nothing tomorrow night, and we also have nothing on Saturday. We'll have 2 shows on Sunday, and I don't know who our UK guest is yet, but I do know that, on Sunday night we have a show as well, interview. And yeah, we're back at it on Monday, and then so on and so on and so on and so on. We did officially convert our Wednesday night interviews over to a debate show with Lee and Wayne and whoever else they bring in. We tried it out last night and it was fun. So that was cool. Scarves are in production. If you didn't know that already, I got the photo proof that they're in production. They're just not in my hands yet. They have to come to me all the way from Seattle. They got to come all the way to Massachusetts once they're done. And then I got to send them all the way back out to the West Coast for some of you people who purchased them over there and everywhere else in the country. So they're on the way.
I'm waiting on mine.
I know, man. I know. But guess what? So like I told this to everybody before. So some people out of the 20 plus people who purchased them, for your patience, not everybody, because I don't have enough stuff for everybody, but one of you is going to get an extra scarf, and somebody's going to get a nice fancy West Ham decal for your car, with the new logo, that weatherproof, all that other good stuff. And actually 3 of you are going to get those. I'm going to stick it in the envelope with the scarf and send it back out. And then someone's going to get a Columbus E13 sticker.
Hey!
Since you sent me 2, I'm going to put one in someone's envelope and keep the other one for myself. Same thing with the Dallas Hammers. One of you is going to get a Dallas Hammer sticker, and someone's going to get a Crossed Hammer sticker. Our buddies over there at Crossed Hammers, they're awesome. CrossedHammers.com. Also do a YouTube show, which is hilarious, and podcast now too. So anyway, everybody, thank you so much for tuning in tonight. And if you're not seeing this live, thank you so much. And please, if you haven't already, hit the subscribe button, like our videos, but share the videos, spread the word, like and share and retweet all our posts and stuff like that. Help us spread the word. We've been creeping on 1,000 for a while now. We're at 825, I think, on subscriber count. And, once we hit the 1,000 mark, we're going to put a little, give a little back and do some giveaways and stuff like that, and little contests. So, but not until we hit 1,000. So cool. Help us reach 1,000. All right, I'll talk to you real quick off the air, Kevin. But everybody else, have a great night, and come on, you Irons.